Hello everybody, Pinstripe here. Welcome back to map development. Today looking at the map known as Eyrie, which to you and me would be Mission 14's battle stations. But we're starting off here with the very early version of the game where there is a lot going on, but also not that much going on. It seems that this map has always been divided up in the same way, where you have the high ground where I'm guessing the enemies would be, the middle section of the map which is essentially no man's land covered in minefields and in this case barbed wire, and the other corner of the map where you have a farmhouse which has kind of a gate going around it and some utility poles which would for some reason provide electricity. So you can see there is a good amount of attention to detail, but whether or not it would have played well is completely up to speculation because, as I've said before, gameplay wasn't really functional. And I think the other glaring issue is the fact that the high ground is incredibly empty. Like, you have guns on either side, there's a pillbox at the very top, but that is about it. Not much else is really going on. I've talked about it before, but Hogs of War has always done well at differentiating between textures and kind of indicating what is walkable and what can be a potential danger. But in this case, on this map, in this version, it's like one of two textures. You either have green or you have brown. But the strange thing is that the farmhouse is positioned on the brown portion of the map, where you would normally expect there to be some kind of minefield or at least a path. You know, there's very little in terms of pathways and knowing what directions you can and cannot go in. You can see there are some jagged lines between where the textures would normally meet, which is more of a showcase of the map being partially unfinished or in a state that is unknown, because this is one of the oldest maps in the game. There are a bunch of maps in Hogs of War that kind of make it through the full stage of development, which kind of places them in that category of being pretty old. But as always, I want to know what you guys think about this map in particular, at least this version. Do you think it could have played well in today's game? I don't think so personally, just because of the lack of direction it seems to have, involving pretty much every area of the map. But we're going to progress on to the next stage of development, where Hogs of War moved into its next prototype phase. And you can see that everything is kind of looking the same in terms of textures, but there has been some more detail added to the high ground and indeed to where you would normally spawn in today's game. The area where the house is still technically there. The sort of groundwork, I guess you could call it, of where it would be still exists, but you also have all of these areas here on the high ground where you have some actual pathways, as I talked about, and some possible areas where there could have been some vehicles, I'm guessing, because normally if there are circles on the ground, it indicates that there is either a pillbox or an artillery or some kind of vehicle or building there. Immediately, it seems with this version of the map, you actually get a sense of direction. Literally, there are pathways that lead you to different areas of the map, and of course it does still contain the older portions like the house and the sort of weird rock texture that you find on the outer edges of the map that is eventually just unused and is removed later on in the game's development. But from here, we don't really have any other in between. It goes from this stage right to the beta and the final version of Battle Stations, which is a shame because it would be interesting to see how this map sort of changed going into the alpha stage, which is normally the most interesting when it comes to gameplay and other things of that nature. So yes, we have now come full circle, and this is the modern day version of Battle Stations, the map known as Eyrie. If you have any questions about this map, then do let me know in the comments. But just to finish off this video, we will be discussing what this map is, what its concept is, and what is actually going on at the moment, because you can see that a windmill has been added and a lot has changed since the previous prototype was shown. The pathways are still there, pretty much in the same place, but the area around where the players spawn in, and of course where the enemies are as well, has completely changed. You can see that the textures, lots and lots of textures have been brought in to sort of differentiate between what is slippery, what is walkable, and of course the outer edges of the map as well have sort of been decorated with that grass type texture as well. But there's lots of going on because the enemies are surrounded by these sort of metal cases which are meant to represent a new HQ building that they're building, as the synopsis for this mission is that the enemy are of course trying to establish a new HQ in Trottsville, and it's up to your squad to go ahead and stop them. Now, you guys know that I enjoy attention to detail in Hogs of War, but it just astounds me how much content was missed out in terms of the final game. There's a lot of unused content that could kind of include more detail, like Barbed Wire, like Sandbags, those kind of things that could give a little bit more depth to what is going on in a mission and a certain area that is meant to be represented in some kind of way. Maybe I'm looking into it too deeply, but I think that they should have included at least barbed wire here and there, because the only place that you see it in the entire game is on the training mission. Like, come on, you've got no man's land right there. It's a huge area on this map, but it doesn't contain a single bit of barbed wire. Granted, they could have put some more attention to detail into this so-called HQ that they're building, but if you think about the heavy weapons pick specifically, or at least classes that have a bazooka, you can't put a roof on a building because the AI will just shoot themselves. They won't reposition themselves to get a better shot, they won't really know how to use it for cover, and they'll just continuously damage themselves. So in that regard, it's difficult to really give a sense of detail to this mission. But what do you think about this map's development? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know, of course. And that is going to wrap it up for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Lots more map development and unused map videos coming your way very soon. I'm currently working on a bunch of different things as always, so I hope you can stay tuned for that. And I will catch you guys later for the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Destination.